Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to explain the difference between the class and object in the Java. So what is the class? Class is nothing but it's a blueprint of the every object. Okay. Here I am taking one example, news and newspapers. For example, there is a one press person is there. Okay. That he needs to compose one news for a day. For that he has composed a news. Okay, and the composition is also completed. Then the next step is he released the newspaper to the public. Then you can assume every news template is like a class. Just we have to compose a class or news. Then according to that you have to generate n number of newspapers or n number of objects. Every newspaper is just like a object, and every newspaper template is like a just like a class. Okay, here you can see I have created a class. The class name is the newspaper. Every class has a two things is there. One is the variables, second one is the methods. So in the variables generally we will call as a state, and methods is generally we will call as a behavior. Okay, here I have created n number of objects for a class. The class is only one, but I have created three objects. According to the your requirement, you have to create n number of objects as you wish. There is no matter how many objects you need to create. Okay, but a class is always one unique piece of code. According to that, you have to generate n number of objects. And one more thing is, for the class, there is no memory occupation is required. It's not allocated any memory for the class, but memory allocation for the object is required. According to the class, and at the time of the object creation, the memory is allocated for every object. For example, for this class, there are 10 bytes of memory is required. According to that, if we have created 10 bytes, it will create 30 bytes is created for the three objects. Okay, that like it's created. And the properties of the class. It's a class is just a template or blueprint, and it does not occupy any memory. And a class is a group of variables and different types of methods is there. So every class has these sections is there. One is the data members and methods, constructor, and a nested construction and interface. Okay, data members is the variables and methods is the, so whatever the operation you need to perform according to the data members you can create. For example, I have a, according in our previous slide, I have created two news, two methods is there. Here you can see news one and news two. Here is state news and central news is there. Two methods is there. These two methods you will perform based on the variables. Okay, and it will occupy memory based on the state, not on the behavior. Behavior is just like a it's a action, but is the state is a, it will occupy some variables, some variables I will declare here, and according to the variable, and you can finalize how much memory is allocated for the each object. Okay, for in this newspaper I have a two variables is there. So each variable, for example, it will take 2 bytes, and for the two variables it will occupy 4 bytes, and it will occupy each object, it will occupy 4 bytes. Okay, so object to object is different. It is a no relation is there. It's an instance. Okay, object is a instance of a every class. Okay, that is the main difference between the object and class. And I have drawn one complete diagram here. So I took one example of the red bus. Okay, so I'm going to uh, create one ticket. I'm going to print one. I'm going to book a ticket. Here the red bus is there. Here the from is the one of the property. Two is the another property, and the date and the switch. These are the sum. Suppose if I click here, okay, it will display some uh, some services, bus services is there. Okay, so here you can click. It will there lot of options is there. So here you can assume that If you go there before section from and to, for example, this is the one class. Okay, this section is the one of the class, and the section is completed, then it will go to the another. Every page is a one class. Okay, similar to I have created one class here. I have declared some properties. One is the name, address, phone number, gender, from, to, like that I have created. Okay, randomly I took it. So these type of properties generally we will call it the state. According to state, we can calculate how much memory is required for each object. Okay, so one thing you need to remember, class will not occupy any memory. Okay, only objects only occupy memory. Class is just like nothing but a template. Okay, just we have to declare what you want for each object, and according to the properties, methods will perform some action. So whatever the logic is there, for example, if you want to do calculation for the each ticket. Okay, suppose we are using a debit card or credit card, so card to card, and according to the bank to bank, the calculations and the final amount is differ from the for each passenger to passenger. So this passenger is different, and this passenger one is different, and passenger two is different. This passenger one is created based on the declaration of the class. Okay, class is always one unique piece of code. According to this piece of code, object is created. For example, I am going to book a ticket. I am the passenger one. Address is Hyderabad. Phone number is something. And the gender male, I am from Hyderabad to Bangalore. I am going to book a ticket. According to that, it will generate one object. Okay, so and the passenger 2 is there, and in this passenger 2 is created, and according to class, similarly passenger 3 is created another object. Okay, he has given these details like that. Okay, so the object creation syntax is like that. Redbus is a reference variable r1 equal to new is the keyword. New is the keyword to create a object of the class. Okay, and a redbus is the constructor. This new equal to new redbus is a constructor. If you define or not define, by default every class is created default constructor. If you are define especially specifically, then it will not create any default constructor. That is the main thing it is there, and this is the main difference between the class and object. Okay, and objects are the instance of a class. Okay, instance means it will allocate some memory for the each object. For example, uh, as we discussed in our earlier section, so just we have composed one news in the newspaper mission. According to that news, we will print a news for the day. Okay, so every newspaper will occupy some papers. That is the memory allocation of the object. You can every newspaper is just like a one object. Okay, and that is the main difference between the object and the class. Every object can have a some things is there. One is the state, and second one is the behavior, and third one is the identity. That I have already discussed with you. This is the syntax of the class. Okay, and for this class I have created a object. Okay, so this is the overall difference between the class and object. Okay,